Let the adventure begin. Written by Silverwolf96. Read by Arashi. Are you ready, Felix? Sylvain asks as they take their first steps onto the road. Together, their Pokemon by their side. Ready to become the greatest trainers ever? His Growlithe barks up at him from where it's walking next to him, and the Vulpix in his arms turns its head to lick him on the chin. Yeah, Felix replies, letting his Litten climb from his lap and perch on his shoulders. We're going to have to train a lot, though, to get stronger. His Shinx is walking next to him, occasionally running around with Sylvain's Growlithe. They have been as close as their masters for as long as they've known each other. In Fodland, one has to be 15 before they're allowed to start traveling with their Pokemon. Since Sylvain is 2 years older than Felix, he would have been allowed to start his journey earlier, but decided to wait so he could travel with Felix. Felix's birthday was 2 days ago, and they have now officially started their travels. It's something they've been looking forward to, ever since they received their Pokemon when they were 10. I know, right? Sylvain gently tosses Vulpix into the air before catching it. I know we've been training with each other, and Dimitri and Ingrid, but it's really not the same as battling real opponents. Like gym leaders, Felix agrees. Real battles with real trainers, not just having the Pokemon playing around with their friends. His Pokemon, while pretty strong battlers, refuse to go all out on his friends' Pokemon. Yeah, Sylvain says, looking at the sky thoughtfully. We'll have to think up some strategies, too. Isn't the closest gym a water-type one? Yeah, it is, Felix replies, but I have Shinx for it. And doesn't your Growlithe know Thunderfang? He adds, pointing out that they at least have some advantages, even if collectively 3 out of their 4 Pokemon are weak against water. Not to mention all of them are weak to ground, and there is also a ground-type gym. They walk along for a few hours, chatting a bit about the gyms, what Pokemon they'd like to add to their teams, and other things. Their Pokemon are spending time running around, playing together, and exploring their surroundings, while being careful not to rile up any of the wild Pokemon. Let's take a break, Sylvain suggests after a while. Maybe have a bit of a snack while at it. He's already setting down his backpack and looking around for sticks to start a campfire to prepare something warm to eat and drink. We don't have time to laze around, Sylvain, Felix tells him sternly. Remember, we're supposed to meet Dimitri and Ingrid in Ferdiad in 3 days. The 4 of them had agreed to meet up before they start their travels, as Ingrid and Dimitri are also starting their journeys around the same time, since Felix, Ingrid, and Dimitri all turn 15 this year. Don't worry, we'll be there in time, Sylvain reassures him, rearranging the pile of sticks he's managed to pile up and make them into a more effective campfire. Would one of you mind lighting this? He asked the 3 fire-type Pokemon sitting around him, Q, Growlithe, and Vulpix, both breathing fire on the sticks, instantly making them burst into flames, while Litten trots right past them and tries to climb up Sylvain. Oi! Get down! The tickles! Sylvain laughs as Litten tries to crawl inside his coat. Let me guess. You're after this? He asks, producing a Petia berry from some pocket, which Litten eats in a single bite, before settling down nearby and starts purring. You sure like your spicy stuff, just like Felix. He laughs, patting the Pokemon on the head, before settling down next to Felix, who seems to have given up and decided to just go with Sylvain's lead. He produces a number of berries, as well as some vegetables and sausage to cook over the fire. It just has to taste good, he says, digging through his own backpack for some equipment to make something over the fire. Unlike some people, he adds, looking at Sylvain, who just shrugs. It's not my fault I don't really like spicy stuff, he says. Besides, we have a good system going, don't we? The system being, whenever Sylvain gets gifted something spicy, he gives it to Felix, and whenever Felix is given something sweet, he hands it to Sylvain. I guess, Felix replies, barely listening to Sylvain anymore, as he's focusing on putting some berries on a stick to be roasted over the fire. Sylvain grabs the vegetables and a couple of sausages and helps him, as well as grabbing their water bottles and pouring them each a cup. I suggest a toast, he says, holding up his cup of water. To us, and the beginning of our great adventure. Felix glares at him for a moment, before letting out a small sigh and complying, lifting his cup as well and clinking it against Sylvain's. Idiot, he mutters half-heartedly. Only you would be this optimistic on the first day. Well, someone has to be, right? Sylvain grins, before tossing an arm around Felix's shoulders and pressing a kiss to the side of his head. Besides, you love my optimism. Luckily for you, Felix grumbles, even as he settles against Sylvain and tucks his head down to hide his blushing cheeks.